Welcome back. This is Methos' letter, episode 21, and today we will be talking about gender. This is more of an opinion-based thing, so don't get all out of shape if you disagree. It's okay to disagree. I don't know everything. I am not the end-all, be-all of gender. I'm not some sort of master of it. And, yeah. Is going to be based off of my experiences, my conversations with other people, my personal research, academic or otherwise. I feel like the important thing to do first is to describe two important words, sex and gender, before I continue. To me, sex is the biological characteristics. There are two sets and a subset of each. So there's primary female sexual characteristics, and then secondary female sexual characteristics, and then there are male primary sexual characteristics and secondary male sexual characteristics. And these are kind of the pretty obvious things. Women have developed mammary glands, breast. They have vulva, clitorises, where males have penis, testicles. But it also goes into secondary characteristics like body shape or facial hair. And this stuff is based off of our chromosomes, our genetic material. Some of it's based off of our diet because our diet can influence our hormones as we're developing, can change things. These characteristics kind of are it. There's male characteristics and there's female characteristics. And people have kind of a mixed bag of them. And this is an opinion. Some assembly of that female sex and some assembly of that is male sex. And then there are individuals who develop that it's not so easy to tell, and that's intersex. They used to use a term called hermaphrodite to describe this phenomenon. This is not gender. Sex is talking about physical characteristics, about our biological reproductive nature, genitals, body shapes, etc., hormones, chromosomes. Now, gender is a concept of femininity, masculinity, and it gets tricky, to say the least, because gender isn't necessarily based off of our biology. It's based off of what we perceive should be our biology. Culturally speaking, we are raised to see somebody as female or male. Not like we're not handed a program or a textbook and it's downloaded into our brains. We associate certain aspects in society with either masculine or feminine. And this is kind of where gender gets into it, what gender is. Those things can be tweaked by culture. They can be tweaked by experiences. They can be changed by cultural norms changing. And you get into a whole host of things because gender can encompass sexual orientation and roles in sex. What that, this is where like male homosexuality is seen as a feminine thing because of how, what's the word I'm looking for? This is how male homosexuality can be seen by some as feminine because they identify feminine gender as being receiving partners, which has always been interesting to me, that all gay men are feminine. One of them is not always, they can't both be the bottom at the same time. Maybe that's not, my point being is that gender and sexual orientation are linked. So is sex. But gender, what does it mean to be female? Or let me correct myself. What does it mean to be feminine? What does it mean to be masculine? The fuck do I know? Some might say that, oh, well, I have a penis, so therefore I'm male. I'm masculine. Somebody might have a vagina and say that they're feminine. And that's how probably a lot of people kind of see it, or maybe not. Maybe that's just our perception of the zeitgeist of our culture is that most people see themselves, oh, I have this bit, so I fit into this category. And I doubt that. I honestly do. As as our culture currently is debating what it means to be male, female, masculine, feminine, transgender, gender fluid, non-binary, it raises it makes people question more. It makes people question more what it means to be feminine or masculine. We've come to a point where our culture is starting to say you can't tell somebody else what it means to be masculine or feminine, which means that if the definition, at least this is the way I understand it, if a definition of a word becomes wholly only defined by the bearer of the word, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. So if I'm masculine, I get to describe what masculine means for me and me alone, and you get to describe yourself as masculine, but from an outside third party, those things have nothing in common. The word becomes meaningless. And that's kind of where I'm at with gender, is gender to me is meaningless. To define a girl, define femininity, isn't just somebody who plays with Barbies. And the opposite isn't just somebody who plays with G.I. Joes. That is a very simple thing. But those boxes are becoming disintegrated. And gender has a weird history in Western society. More to do with our language than it is people. Certain languages, like the French, let's say, have gendered words. There's a feminine word for a chair and a masculine word for a chair. And depending on the context and how you're using it, denotes how you use that. Other languages like English don't really have gendered words. And other languages don't even have gendered pronouns. You could have there are a handful of languages out there that don't even. I lost the audio. So we're gonna have to use the shitty audio. So somewhere along the way, I lost the audio for this video in this second recording device. So, sorry. You could have there are a handful of languages out there that don't even distinguish somebody's gender as a pronoun. There is no his or hers. They're just that person. Whoever we were referencing earlier in this statement, thing, or whatever. And so, as our cultures become more smushed together and melted, those concepts, to me, when I say a girl, I mean somebody that is outwardly appearing to have all the bits. They don't all have to be there. It's always a little asterisk. Always a little asterisk. They have enough physical features that identify them as female biologically. And to me, boys are people who have enough features to identify, sexual characteristics to identify them as a boy. This is not to say I don't believe or am transphobic. I do believe that people, I don't know if it's a brain thing or chemistry or chromosomes or whatever, but I do, and I have met people who don't feel like the sex that they're born in. And that is way above my pay grade. But I do know those people exist, and it isn't frivolous. And so it really shines a light on what it means to be a girl or to be a boy. And it's hard to really piece that all together because our society is still hung up on this is what it means to be a boy, and this is what it means to be a girl. And it's okay as a boy to do this, and it's okay as a girl to do that. And so these lines are super blurry and super messy. And I feel like there are definitely people who are gender fluid or transgender who are confused simply on that alone. And I've met people that are. I've met people um, who have a hard time with physical features, things that when you think of transgendered people aren't the things that come to mind, like the shape of their hands, secondary sexual characteristics. Male hands are different than female hands, and it can cause dysphoria for certain individuals by the feel the look of their hand. It's not so much other stuff because they can hide that a lot easier, but their hands, you can't really hide your hands all that well. They might be too big or too long, depending on all the circumstances. I myself identify as non-binary or gender fluid, whatever the word is. As I kind of said in the last episode, I don't really like labels. They're kind of more of a political mess than they are categorizing anymore. Yeah, I identify as non-binary or gender fluid depending on the moment, I guess. Whatever rolls better off the tongue. I don't really care for labels. I think they're more of a political mess than they are good at categorizing people, and much like sexual orientation, we need to use hex codes. And I don't want to have a little pamphlet to look at the hex codes for people. Like, okay, so this is a gender hex code, this is a sexual orientation hex code, this is the non-religious hex code, but I don't feel masculine, don't really feel feminine. There's times that I feel feminine, there's times that I feel masculine, there's times that I feel like my body is more girly or more boyish. I don't know. And I don't think anybody really knows. And I think, honestly, these words are not useful. I use those terms partly because I don't want to play the game. I think we should move past gender completely as a concept because it's a mess. And it gets into the whole sexual orientation thing. Like, there are people that I've met and talked with that say that if you're, let's say, homosexual, right? That if your gender, let's say, is masculine, and you're homosexual, then you are attracted to masculine people. Gender. Let's try to remember this. Masculine, gender, male, sex. So, if you're homosexual and you're masculine, you're attracted to masculine. But not everybody sees it that way. You might be male, does not mean you're attracted to masculine, and if you're male and homosexual, that should mean you're attracted to male. Some people view that as a different thing. They view it as the former. People are conflating gender and sexuality on all sides of this argument, this discussion. And I'm not attracted to masculine or femininity. I'm attracted to people. So I'm a bisexual, gender fluid, not give a fucker. That's my sexual orientation and gender now. Not giving a fuck. Do as I please. You see. At the end of the day, I'm also a nudist, so like certain trappings like clothing, I don't see things as like every day that goes by, things become less feminine and less masculine. People's bodies, I see it as sex, not as gender, which can probably create problems with certain people. We gotta say something. We gotta stand somewhere and make a statement. And even if we're wrong or if we're right, other people, we can have a discussion. That's what's important. I want to have a discussion. If you disagree with me, this would be a great time to say why you disagree with me. If you agree with me, say why you agree with me. Either way, we should have a discussion. Why is it something like this or something like that? I think that's the important thing. Discussion at the end of the day is the most important thing. And anybody who says, nope, it's got to be this way, it's the highway, is crazy. I think gender and sexual orientation are obsolete concepts. But for all intents and purposes, If this was like a political thing, I want to participate in the politics. But I don't want to pick the donkey or the elephant because I think they are both angry, agitated, no longer willing to listen to the other side because of all the bad blood. I want to move forward. I want to see what we can do with not having all the baggage. Is that too much to ask? It's just not to have all of the baggage. But tell me your thoughts. What do you think it means to be masculine or feminine? Do you see masculine the same as male? Or femininity is the same as female? Gender is complicated. Sex is complicated. Life is complicated. If you like this content and would like to see more, please like, subscribe, and comment. You know, the normal social media hubbubaloo. Share me with your friends. Even if you don't like my content, you know, have people come and yell at me. It's fine. I'm used to it. Check out some of my other social media stuff. I do the pictures and the filmmaking and the writing and the painting. And, yeah. Until next time, which is in 3 days, I hope you enjoyed it. My rant. See you later.